It's nice to know that it was dress up day at work, Nicholas.
Wow.
Halloween in December.
Yep. Every day for me is Halloween. You know that. I wear my Witcher coin to work. I don't care. You can see it right now if you're watching the stream.
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages. Geeks Worldwide Radio and Dork Shared Gooniverse proudly presents to you the greatest, and I mean the greatest, podcasting team in the world. He's the Fry Guy, Nick Fryer. I'm the Backcracker, Dr. Joe. Together we are the TLDR Comic Book Club, baby. Nicholas, how you doing?
I needed that big time after seeing how amazing you did with your intro for I've heard it both ways last week.
That was a good one.
You're on a friggin' heater, man. My God.
Let me tell you, I literally did that 2 minutes before the show because normally one of the things with Psych, one of the running gags, the jokes is that Sean, Gus, the two make it. So Sean is always giving ridiculous nicknames to his partner, Gus. So I'm always trying to give Billy a ridiculous nickname. And I was like, I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm gonna try something. Wow. I was thinking of the Ric Flair intro, and then I pulled up the quote, and then I made a few fixes there, and
yeah. You did a damn good job. You are turning into a real hype man. And we also, speaking of hype man too, we wanted to hype up a book. I think we both have it as our backgrounds for this episode for our solicit. As much as we're doing a solicit this week, always want to remind you guys, subscribe to the show on our audio channels, whether it's Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, Geeks Worldwide, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts, we're available there. And the reason that it's so important to remind you guys this week is because we have another Fireside Chat coming out. If you're watching the stream right now, it's coming out on Wednesday, tomorrow after we're recording this. If you're hearing the solicit on Friday in audio form, you already know it's available. Make sure you listen. So make sure you subscribe to the show so it's delivered right to your listening device. That's the only place you can hear the Fireside Chats. And make sure you give a 5-star review. It helps the show a ton. That's really all. That's all. That's the only way you can help the show right now. Subscribe to the show. Keep enjoying the stuff that we're providing you guys, and make sure you leave a rating and review. That's huge. But Joe, the conversation with Alex Paknadel for All Against All got it right this time. Of course, hitting shelves from Image Comics this week. We'll be talking about the book in a little bit, but how'd you feel about things went with another friend from across the pond?
Yeah, it was great. It was funny because he's like, "Oh yeah, who else have you spoken to? Across the pond." We rattle them all off. Declan Shelby, who I believe him. Those two seem to be quite friendly with each other because they're always replying to each other's tweets and stuff like that. But Declan Shelby, Kieran Gillen, John Lees, Cy Spurrier, Stephanie Hans, right? We've talked to a lot of people on the other side of the Atlantic there, and it was a lot of fun. And it's now marks 2 times that a writer has talked about coming up with ideas while sitting on the can.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. And also, yet another writer who we've had on too, who's telling us things perhaps a little bit sooner than they were supposed to. So
love that. And the porn bots are in full effect right now. If you're over on watching us on YouTube and the comments there. So if you're interested in sexfind.biz,
Oh, I thought that was Mac. Oh, my bad. I had no idea. Okay.
Yeah, anyway, burner account.
But man, yeah, so make sure you guys check that out. We had a lot of fun. Awesome book too. We'll talk about it a little more in a bit. One thing, Joe, before we get into our solicit and quickly, skim through catching up, we're getting ready for our year-end stuff. We have our holiday gift guide that we're going to get for everybody. That'll be a week before Christmas, so that way if you have some last-minute shopping, I'm buying one of my nephews some comics. I already got them, actually, when I was in New York this weekend, so really pumped to give him those. I'll definitely be listing those off when we do our holiday gift guide. We also got our annual coming up, too, and one thing that you did last year was you talked about, or you highlighted how many book comics you read because you have a tracker and everything. And I really respect that you do that, but I'm not going to freaking do that myself because not gonna. But I'm curious, over or under 775 comics read, floppies read by the time we convene for our annual.
So I'm trying to find, I have it saved here. So last year, I believe I read,
I think it was 947.
Was it 947? And right now I'm at 695. You have set the over under there at 775. I'm going to hit the over.
Okay.
I'm
All
gonna hit
right.
the over.
Interesting. Okay. That is no look, we read a lot of stuff. And sometimes and I know right now, obviously, we're getting ready for a manga episode that we're going to be doing next week as well. So there's a lot of issues. I don't know if they don't usually come out as single issues, so I don't know how you're going to count that one. But
I didn't count it, so that's the thing. I'm probably well over that, to be honest
yeah.
with you. You know, because I've read. I mean that thing was.
But you count that as just one because it just comes out in one. That's it. Like
Well, yeah, it has chapters to it, but do you
right.
count the chapters as issues?
I
Right?
don't think so.
I don't have no idea.
They're not
So
available in that form, so I don't think you can.
yeah, so you know,
Hmm.
but that was a thick bitch, you
Yeah.
know, and
I'm excited to hear about it.
we'll discuss that more. We gotta follow up with Shime.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. We're
Yep.
doing our manga issue next week, and we're gonna have the manga king himself,
Yes.
Shime on, and this has been a long one in the making.
Yes.
So very excited.
And it'll be our first, but it will not be our last because I know the one that I'm talking about. Obviously, when you're talking about, but there's another one that I've been talking about from a friend of the show about that I'm interested in looking into as well. But that's a conversation for another day. Let's go through catching up real quick. I don't think I had to catch up on anything. There may have been something, but it just like mentally slipped through the cracks on me because there's a ton of stuff coming out this week, Joe. What about you?
I didn't catch up on much. I caught up on Detective Comics 1066. So far, I've enjoyed Rom V's run. This was the most Rom V-ish of the book so far, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I still enjoyed it very much, but this one took a little bit to kind of get through. And then a book rule boom #1, read it. So this one I missed last month. Beyond Behemoth #1. Second issue, we'll talk about that, momentarily, drops this week. So I was like, you know what? Let me go back. Let me read that because that one slipped through my cracks.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it only happened on the Pineapple Fox, but who
Yeah.
knew?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's not slander my other great show there.
Sorry.
Brag. That one slipped through the cracks. Excellent. I've already added it to my dibs list.
Yep.
So very excited for this. This was an unexpected horror book.
Oh, it's a horror book. I didn't know that.
Oh, it's it's good.
Okay, I'm excited to hear about that. That does ring a bell a little bit. Maybe it was from our conversation when we did last month's solicit. Let's get started on ours now by opening up with what's new. Obviously, the comics hitting shelves this week, December 7th. Joe, as you do, please kick us off with Marvel.
Okay, so we have Daredevil. Oh, I'm going to save that one. Thor 29. Avengers 63. It's like we haven't done one of these in a month.
Yeah.
Immortal X-Men #9. X-Force 35. New Mutants 32. X-Men Red #9. Ghost Rider #9. Spider-Man #3. Fantastic Four #2. Captain Marvel issue 44. Marauders issue #9. Predator #5. Captain America Sentinel of Liberty #7. The Variants #5, Secret Invasion #2, Star Wars Hidden Empire #2. Did you read the first one of this?
I did not. No.
This feels like another one that slipped through the cracks, not my cracks.
No, I think this is the end of all the stuff with Kira from Emilia Clarke's character from the Han Solo movie.
Gotcha. We have Damage Control #5 and Tiger Division issue 2. Before we get into the #1s, actually,
there's only one that you want to highlight.
Let me highlight this number. I'll run through the #1s and then we'll talk a little bit more about some of the books because I did actually read a couple of Marvel books this week. So we have Dark Web #1, written by Zeb Wells, art by Adam Kubert. We have Miles Morales, Spider-Man #1, written by Cody Ziegler with art by Federico Vincentini. There we go. Nailed it.
Nice.
Extreme X-Men #1, written by Chris Claremont with art by Salvador LaRocca. Because the Gambit run hasn't been so great. I'm not so convinced this one's going to be either. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur #1, written by Jordan Fueco with art by Alba Glez. And then this #1 actually piqued my interest. Thanos Death Notes #1, written by John Michael Straczynski.
Oh, yep. Okay.
With art by Kyle Starks. So we've had Kyle Starks on the show, I believe, right?
Yes, that's right.
Right.
Oh,
With
yeah.
um
Oh, yeah.
Into Radness, right?
Yes, Into Radness, Dark Horse. Yep.
Yep, and he's also doing the art on Twig, which was excellent. But John Michael Straczynski, right? He's been killing it at AWA. He's done Marvel in the past. He's getting bad. So this looks interesting. Thanos is missing, presumed dead after the chilling events of Kieran Gillen and Esad Ribeck's Eternals. But Thor has seen a vision of his return, and it is enough to make even a god fear. To prepare himself, to prepare the universe, Thor desperately searches for answers in Thanos' past and finds a glimpse of Marvel Universe's dark future.
Wow.
That actually sounds really good.
That sounds really good. I think that I want to offer up dibs because I think this is a book that we should talk about on the show if it ends up doing really well.
You got it. Take it.
Yeah.
Even though I highlight it.
No, I'm saying I was offering dibs.
Oh, okay. Well,
yes. You called. You want it?
I'll take it.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We doesn't make any promises. So anyways, okay, then we got two books that we wanted to highlight from Marvel. Both books that we are reading, but the one that I want to talk about was Punisher issue 8, Joseph. And I know last time we talked, I was like, okay, like, we didn't last time we talked about Punisher, I missed out in the conversation because one of the few times that I didn't read it before the episode, and I was like, I'm not letting this happen again because this has been an outstanding series, and I want to share my thoughts on it. First of all, the cover for this thing is friggin' awesome. That is drawn by Jesus Saiz, and I'll tell you what, man, too. Like, I mean, just we've seen a lot of cool covers, right? There's plenty of variants of it, especially from Image. Sure, from Marvel too, but this is just like, I don't know where this one came from. Like, it's unique. So we get review copies. We do pick up stuff that we like sometimes, even though we have review copies. This is one that I might end up picking up, even though I've already read it. And I'll tell you what, man, the story here and the focus on where the focus is throughout all of this, and then the violence is absolutely batshit. And I was actually listening to Jason Aaron do a review on an interview on a separate podcast, and I was thinking about this story, and I'm just like, they've taken him down a road to me that seems like Punisher's going to become like it feels like he's becoming a villain, like not just hiding and trying to get like in plain sight and trying to get what he can out of villains and then screw them over later. To me, it feels like, no, he might screw these people over later, but he's pretty much going full villain, don't you think?
Oh yeah, he's full send. And what I love about it is that you can kind of see how he's not quite himself. He's been overtaken, right? In a sense, and so where this, like, he's not really Frank Castle. He is, but he isn't. And
he's the beast.
And what I think is a great way that they're doing this well, they're showing this separation is, and this is what I loved about the last issue, was that we got a lot of who Frank Castle is through the eyes of Maria, right? And we get more of that in this issue. So again, it's a very sort of personal issue, and then you get all the stuff that happens. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
It is awesome because it's clearly leading up to what's going to be an epic showdown, and we still have, where things are going in Daredevil and how these two stories, they're like, it's like, Punisher and Frank Castle is fighting two wars right now, and he seems fucking unstoppable, and that's what I love.
Yeah, and they're going to talk about that book in a second, but I just wanted to say too, on the art, where everything's just like absolutely insane. We've said it before how this. So we got Jesus Saiz, who I mentioned before, did the cover. I believe he's the present day artist for the story, and then for the flashbacks, it's Paul as a Sesta, I believe. Yep. But they are such a great tandem, especially for Frank Castle. So I don't know who came up with the idea to have two artists. I don't know who came up with the idea to make it these two guys, but whoever that was over at Marvel, they deserve like a nice little bonus, because that has enhanced the story so much.
Yeah, because he's done all the flashback stuff, right? And so that's a great way of, showing this past and present, this 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides of Frank Castle, right? where we're really, it's really painting this complex picture of what we know has always been sort of a complex character, even though he seems pretty simple at times in terms of like, this is his drive, this is his motivation, but there's so much more to him than just you know um I kill bad guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that here, and we see it through the art, we get it in the story. It's just been a tremendous run.
Yeah, it has. And what also has been great too is on the other side, where again, when we talked to Chip Zdarsky about it, said these two titles were gonna, I guess, lightly kiss was how he put it, something to that in. But it's been pretty much like you're in a movie theater and it's full on makeout, and this is getting out of control. So how are things in Daredevil 6? I'm up to 5, but I am behind.
So Daredevil number 6 drops this week, and so man, so we get what's happening with Daredevil. I mean, with Punisher and the Hand, and we really starting to get what Daredevil and Elektra and Stick are cooking up on the other side as the Fist. And this is what makes this issue great, is like 2 or 3 pages, and it all involves mostly Elektra. Uh,
Damn
actually, the
straight.
best part of this issue involves Elektra, and something happens at the end of this book that just drops your fucking jaw, right?
Really?
And so what's going on with Matt and Daredevil? He's trying to again, recruit his army, but he's trying to do it his way, right? And not just say, I need you guys to fight this war for me. He is, if you've been caught up with the story so far, he's broken a handful of villains out of prison, and he's not so much trying to reform them, but he is at the same time. He's doing it in his own way, and he's trying to, what's one of the, there's a line he uses where he says empathy is not charity, right? And he's
Hmm.
trying to just not a holier than thou approach, but
Hmm.
like, it's really interesting. It's really fascinating because, it's just Zdarsky has just such a perfect handle on this character.
Yeah. There's
It's
no doubt
absolutely
about that.
perfect. And so we get a lot of that. So there's not a lot of action on the Daredevil front, but then Elektra's sort of on this side mission because of where the story goes and what she needs, information she needs to figure out. And we get a surprise appearance from someone in this issue, which is excellent.
Oh,
And then what happens in the aftermath, just like, oh fuck, yes, 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 yes. And it was so freaking good.
geez, Chip really knows how to get you going, man.
He
It's
does,
unbelievable.
man. He
Yes.
revs my engine, baby.
Yeah, and it ends up all over your sleeve. But I'll tell you what, that's I I have it's been great. It's been outstanding. Again, I'm one issue behind, but that's just because trying to make sure we're getting to a bunch of different books throughout the course of the week. Now we move over to DC, Joe, and there's a few books that you're reading over there. Actually, no, it's Batman 130 is the only one for you right now. Actually, one book I did catch up on was Batman and the Joker Deadly Duo issue 1. That's by Mark Silvestri, and obviously Mark Silvestri, great artist and everything like that. So really like his stuff. So I wanted to check it out. It was solid. I think I'll give the second one a look and see how it goes. But not necessarily anything overwhelming. We got the Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue 3, Gotham City, year 1, issue 3, Sword of Azrael, issue 5, Monkey Prince 9, Batman Night Watch, issue 4, Mad? Oh, like Mad Magazine. Okay, issue 29. And then the one issue 1 that we have is just part of Dark Crisis Warzone by a various group of artists. Batman 130 is on your pull list, Joe, that you've been reading. And then for me, yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
Oh yes, Chip.
fantastic.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am behind on. I'm always behind on Chip stuff, so that way we give him a reason to be upset with us when he's on the show. It really gets him going. We just all know how to push each other's buttons. It's like we're, I don't know, maybe like sex criminals or something like that. But anyways, we have Poison Ivy from DC Comics. Issue 7 is out this week. I talked about this on the show after the first 6 issues were done, the end of the first arc. You can go back to listen to that in full. Outstanding first arc. But then I was like, okay, how is this going to look? Because this was originally a mini series and got turned into a maxi series. I felt comfortable talking about on the show because G. Willow Wilson did a great job. And I believe I don't know for sure if there was a change with the art team. It felt like there was a slight change in some capacity, but I think Arif Prianto was the colorer our colorist on this, in outstanding work. But I did want to comment again on the covers. There have been some awesome Poison Ivy covers throughout all this. And this week, actually, Joe, we're getting all the DC Spawn crossover covers. And this month too, we're getting Spawn, mixed into all these other Image covers as well. So really cool stuff.
We get Batman Spawn's dropping later this month.
Yes, sir. But the main cover for Poison Ivy issue 7 is outstanding. She's in a construction outfit, but like a hot construction outfit. It's like shill baby shill. And that was done by Jessica Fong. Awesome stuff. But when you talk about the ending of the Daredevil book, the end of, look, again, this is a maxi series, so it's going to end at some point. I'm sure G. Willow Wilson, I have to think she'll get more opportunities with Poison Ivy.
Typically 12 issues.
Right. So I'm thinking, I don't know necessarily where it's going to go in the start of this arc. I mean, we talk about an ending. I was like, what the fuck's going to happen? Like, I know, I again don't want to spoil things, but it's like, how the fuck is this going to work? Like after this, she's put herself in a really Julia Wilson has put herself in a really interesting spot. And again, visually, this stuff is definitely not like, I don't want to say it's not like a horror comic where you or at least a typical horror comic where it's bloody and gory and maybe some people can't stomach that. This is weird kind of nasty shit, but it's beautiful at the same time. So and that's what we get again in this issue. Great start to the second arc. So looking forward to seeing how that goes, continuing moving forward. Why don't you take us through Image next?
Oh baby, will I take us through Image? You fucking better believe it. This was a week for Image. Spawn 336, Little Monsters number 8, Undiscovered Country issue 22, the finale to do a power bomb. You might see this on the annual as maybe a winner of a particular category.
Very nice.
This was excellent. Bloodstained Teeth issue 7, That Texas Blood issue 20, the Christmas special. This was this was fun. This was a fun little little issue. I enjoyed their first Christmas issue a little bit more because that was a lot more murdery, but this was a lot of fun. And then we have Kaya issue 3, Golden Rage issue 5, American Jesus Revelation issue 2, The Least We Can Do issue 4. And then we have a few number ones. Do you want to talk about the number ones first and then dive into Seven Sons issue 7, or do you want to?
No, I'll do Seven Sons. I'll do Seven Sons real quick because that's what I'm going to be talking about on the show down the line. This book is an absolute mindfuck, and the twists and turns along the way. Honestly, I kind of think it would have been better served as a graphic novel right off the rip, just because of the way they twist things around and whatnot. Maybe I should just pay attention to the dates a little bit more throughout the book, but it was so where they jerk you around and whatnot. So I can't wait to talk about it more in depth when I do it at some point down the line. Maybe we'll do it when the trade comes out, but just going to leave it at that. And let's get to the number ones.
Okay, so we have a bunch of number ones from Image this week, 12/7. Radiant Pink, issue 1, written by friend of the show, Melissa Flores and Megan Camarena. Written by Melissa Flores with art by Megan Camarena and Emma Kubert. So Melissa Flores is writing The Dead Lucky, which I absolutely love. Radiant Pink, I think, had a really good ending. This book just wasn't for me, Nicholas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a younger vibe. I still liked it quite a bit. I think it's another good installment. By the way, Camarena is one of the. It's her and Melissa are co-writing.
Okay. Right. My bad.
All good.
Yeah,
but
can't read my notes.
Yeah, well. But it's what was I going to say? But no, I enjoy the art. I enjoy it's definitely got a different vibe. We got early access to this a while back. So we gotten a chance to skim through this already, but seems like it's got a promising story. I think if you are a parent who's trying to get your kid into some different stuff outside of DC and Marvel, and maybe Radiant Black you think is a good place to do it. I think Radiant Black in general, you absolutely can. Maybe Rogue Sun or The Dead Lucky are a little bit tougher. I think Radiant Pink is a good spot to do that too, based off of the first issue.
Yeah, it definitely has a younger adult vibe to it.
Yes. Not kids, but younger adult.
Yeah, especially with the art style, but I think too that I think there's a lot of Melissa in this too. We were talking with her; she's
Yes.
a gamer, right? Revolves around a gamer, so just I thought I actually enjoyed the ending of this book, but like getting there for me was just
Mm,
again just wasn't my cup of tea. But
yeah.
that's okay. That's
Hmm.
okay. We also have Hexware issue 1, written by Tim Seeley and with art by Zaluma Scotto Lavina. And then we got some heavy hitters. So we have Noctera Val Special issue 1, written by Scott Snyder with art by Tony Daniel and Francis Manipul. So it's been a little while since Noctera's been out. It's been on a little break since its last arc. So we had a Blacktop Bill sort of one shot, and we get this Val one shot, which is a little bit more of her origin,
Hmm.
which I thought was great. And I
Yeah.
loved that. Again, this was another instance of having two artists, one doing present day, and then you bring in Francis Manipul to do some of the flashback stuff. And I love his art. He's got a very beautiful style that I enjoy. He did the clear for Scott over on Comixology and Dark Horse. So that was great. And then
Well, real quick, I do want to say, like this, I thought this was really good, and I'm very excited for Val in her future going forward as this like this
yeah, because that was a
like
jaw dropping ending
yeah,
to the last
yeah.
arc. So
Yes, yeah,
yeah,
and I'll tell you what too with like obviously like this is Scott and Tony's story, but like Francis Manipul, like when we read the Clear, I really liked it a lot. And obviously that's a book you're going to talk about on the show at some point down the line. But when I saw Francis's art here, I like this. I like this really fits really well. Like
it does.
if Tony was ever like you know just needs to take a break and step away or something to that end. I would say like Francis is the person that Scott has to bring in. He and Scott have to bring in because they do an outstanding job.
Yeah, like I'm looking at it now because I have when we did the Kickstarter for the script for Noctera, I also ordered a bunch of prints, and I have
Hmm.
one of cover of Francis Manipul and one of Tony Daniels. And what I love about their styles is that they're both very detailed. They're both very very clean. Tony Daniel has a little bit more of a realism to it,
Hmm.
but Manipul's colors, because he does a lot of his own coloring.
Yeah,
Like I said, it's beautiful. I love it. It just pops. And you're right, it fits so well. It gave you there was enough dichotomy between the two, so you knew when you were present day and when you were sort of in the past, but it also meshed perfectly.
yeah, it really did. And actually, I'm pretty sure Tony did all the art on this one. So he did all the coloring too.
Oh
Looking
yeah,
at it, yeah, so like it's crazy. Like
yeah,
he did that. It was an awesome job, awesome
yeah.
job. But anyways, we got one. Oh yeah, saving the best for last.
So All Against All, #1, written by Alex Paknadel with art by Casper Wingard. And again, talk about a beautiful artist. His art is so. I mean, and he does his own coloring too. I just love it because it's bright and it's vibrant and it's out there. And it's a very unique style. He was the artist on Homesick Pilots, which I really enjoyed.
Yep.
So in All Against All, it's the distant future. Earth is long gone, but a race of alien conquerors known as the Operators have preserved its most savage animals in an artificial jungle environment that they barely understand. With no bodies of their own, the Operators move from world to world, harvesting bodies for their organic exosuits that they use to wage their endless wars. Ignored and underestimated. I'm butchering this worse than
Dude,
you
I
did in the
yeah.
interview, right?
Well, I was gonna say that, but okay.
By the captors. It's a long
It is a long thing.
it's a long synopsis. Ignored and underestimated by his captors is the habitat's sole human specimen, helpless. The art in this is vicious at times.
Yep.
The colors are gorgeous. The story is wildly unique and fantastic. This was a tremendous first issue.
Look, most not most. I know there are some local comic shops out there who are like don't read the books, like don't be reading them like while you're standing there, like pick up the books you want and then, so on and so forth. But if you can, and if you're comfortable enough with that, the owner or whatever, just take a look at the first page. I'm telling you, if you look at the first page, there is a panel that is going to suck you in, and that tone is present throughout the entire first issue. and the way things end, like you didn't even need that, like the ending of like this looming like fight that's going to be coming. It was already very interesting what's going on with the operators. Now you throw this other wrench into the mix and everything. Yeah, I'm very excited for All Against All, and this is only a 5-issue series too. So
yeah,
for those who like something that has a definitive start and end, nice, quick, definitely get in on this.
Yeah,
and listen to the interview.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a ball talking with Alex about this, and again, I can't speak highly enough. I don't even know what the hell I'm going to say. What's the phrase? Whatever. I cannot speak highly enough of this book. It's fantastic. There we go.
Nice. From Skybound, which of course prints through Image, but is its own thing. We got Walking Dead Deluxe issue 52. From Boom, we got Behold Behemoth issue 2, which Joe was talking about earlier and has called dibs on. Magic the Gathering issue 22, Joe. And then there's a first issue from Boom that you wanted to touch on.
Yeah, so this is called Know Your Station issue 1, written by Sarah Gailey, with art by Liana Kangas. Sarah Gailey, of course, wrote Eat the Rich, which I believe I talked about on the show and enjoyed very much. So that should, give you a hint to where the synopsis is going. The wealthiest people in the solar system abandoned the Earth for a private sanctuary in space, leaving the rest of us to die amidst cataclysmic climate change. Say that 10 times. But the 1%, right, though. I did, but the 1% won't be safe for long. A murderer is on the loose, specifically targeting the super rich. Soon, Elise and an employee of the billionaire space station is wrapped up in a deadly investigation, which, Jesus Christ, Joseph, with each issue featuring a new, diabolically different kill. So this sounds unique. I thought Sarah's writing on Eat the Rich was fantastic, so I can't wait to it's Boom, it's number 1, so I definitely can't wait to get my hands on this bad Larry.
And I remember when Lauren and I first started seeing each other, there was a Sarah Gailey book. I think did Sarah Gailey write The Echo Wife? I can't remember, but Lauren really liked Sarah Gailey's work too. So an accomplished writer, not just in comics. We move over to Dark Horse. Why don't you take us through that, Joe?
All right, so we have a couple here. We have Night of the Ghoul, issue 3. Now, there were, when the book was being released digitally through Comixology, it was more than just 3 issues. It was, I think, 5 or 6. With Dark Horse publishing it, they're condensing it down, so you're going to get the whole story within 3 issues. So the third and final issue of that drops this week. Read it. It's fantastic. We have friend of the show. Well, again, Scott Snyder, friend of the show. Cullen Bunn, friend of the show. Shock Shop, the 4th and final issue of that series, drops this week. In his newsletter that he wrote over the weekend, he says he hopes to come back to this series. He really had a lot of fun writing it, so I hope he does. Nice. We have Quick Stops, issue 2. Hellboy in Love, issue 2. The Ones, issue 2. Castle Full of Blackbirds, issue 3, and a number 1 this week from Dark Horse, Nicholas, that you're interested in.
Yeah, I actually read this one. It's Only Teenage Wastelands, issue 1 by
Teenage Wastelands.
Yes, by Kurt Pyers and Jacoby.
Teenage Wastelands.
2 creators that I'm not really all that familiar with, but when his parents go out of town for the weekend, Mexican-American high schooler Javi decides to throw a party, one that'll launch him and his buds into popularity, or at least get them noticed by some girls. But when things take a turn for the worse, Javi and his friends are thrust into a situation in future they could have never possibly prepared for. For fans of The Nice House on the Lake and What's the Furthest Place from Here, or other comics with really long titles and cool high concepts. I like the first issue. Solid start. Like it was pretty much, well, no, it wasn't what I expected going in, like, because they're like, it's like you got to have like a dystopian type of thing or something to that effect coming in, but you basically get like the events right before that, and it gives you a sense of what these kids were like. I don't know if they're still like that or if it's what they were like that right when, right before all these things happened. So yeah, it was a solid first issue. I'm not gonna call dibs on it if you want to take a look at it, but if this maintains, like I'm like, it could be TLDR worthy book, but I need to see it out a little bit more.
With the kids out there in the fields fighting for their meals.
You keep going. Why do I get this from both of my podcasts?
Teenage Wastelands. Oh yeah.
All right, IDW this week.
It's only Teenage Wastelands.
Good Lord. Anyways, IDW, we got TMNT 135, Sonic the Hedgehog, issue 55, TMNT Armageddon Game, issue 3, Earth Divers, issue 3, My Little Pony, issue 7, got it, Godzilla, Monsters and Protectors, All Hail the King, issue 3. I mean,
I don't fucking know.
Godzilla, Monsters and Protectors, All Hail the King. Just
I can't rant on it this week. I don't have it in me. I wasted all on Teenage Wasteland.
And then we got Transformers Best of Windblade issue 1. Joe, why don't you? We don't have any others that we want to dig into for this week, so why don't you just take us through the rest of the indies we got left over?
Yeah. The rest of the indies, there's not much out this week. From Vault, there's the Blue Flame issue 10, Heart Eyes issue 4, and End After End issue 4. From Frank Miller Presents, we have Pandora issue 1, written by Anthony Marinville and Chris Silvestri, with art by Emma Kubert. Or Kubert. She did the art on Radiant Pink. Where she started to do. I think it's her dad who does the art for Wolverine with Benjamin Percy.
Oh, that may be the case. But taking on 2 books at once.
Yeah,
not easy as a person.
Not one bit. From Titan, we have Blade Runner 2039 issue 1, written by Mike Johnson, with art by Andres Ginaldo.
You gonna give that a look?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Dynamite, we have Gargoyles issue 1, written by Greg Weisman, with art by George Cambadas, and this is based off the old 90s cartoon.
Gotta give this a look. I gotta give this one a look.
This is nostalgia. This is a nostalgia look for sure.
Did you ever see that NECA Goliath gargoyle that came out this year? Dude, I like gargoyles as a kid, and I've tried rewatching the show a little bit. But like I couldn't pull the trigger, but it looks so good.
I know. I've got it saved on the queue for when Violets, or Swaggins, I should say, is a little older, and she might like that. And then to round out the first week of the month, at the 37-minute mark, we have from Source Point Press, The Argus issue 2, and then Good Boy, The Prodigal Son issue 1, written by Christina Blanche and Garrett Gunn, with art by Kit Wallace.
All right, well, catch your breath real quick, Joe, because you are going to take us through Marvel as we look to the second week of December and really get going on our solicit. What do we got?
Okay, here we go. Right.
Geez.
Wow. I got it. Like the whales, when they go down deep, they take a big breath, and then they,
That's weird. Another porn bot person followed me on Twitter too, as you did that.
The porn bots are getting out of control.
They really are. It's getting both of my Twitter accounts now. I don't like this.
Yeah. Oh boy. So we have, for the week of the 14th, The Amazing Spider-Man issue 15, Legion of X number 8, Star Wars The Mandalorian number 6, written by friend of the show Rodney Barnes, Deadpool issue 2, Star Wars Bounty Hunters issue 29, Savage Avengers number 8, Planet Hulk World Breaker issue 2, and we have a slew of number 1s, none of which we're particularly interested in, but we will read them off for you nonetheless, because we are, of course, a podcast for the people. Dark Web X-Men issue 1, written by Jerry Duggan, with art by Rod Rice. Invincible Iron Man in number 1, also written by Jerry Duggan, with art by Juan Jerry. We have Monica Rambeau, Photon number 1, written by Eve L. Ewing, with art by Luca Maresca. And then finally, now this one, I will say, this last one here seems like would be a really good gift. We might want to add this to our gift guide, a good little stocking stuffer. This is Origins of Marvel Comics, Marvel Tales issue 1, written by Stan Lee, with art by Kirby. With Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, and this is sort of a little compendium here, a little collection, if you will, of the 4 cornerstone issues that ushered in the Marvel Age of Comics in one unbeatable package. So this has the first Fantastic Four, Amazing Fantasy, which is the first appearance of Peter Parker. It has the first issue of X-Men and the first issue of Avengers.
Well, we should get access to that before our holiday special, so probably a good time to we can check that out and tell
Yeah.
people for sure if we like it or
Yeah.
not. Then we go look to DC, which, by the way, Joe, I noticed it before we went through what's new this week, but I failed to mention it. Just saw from friend of the show Ryan Parrott that he announced that he is going to be doing some stuff at DC coming up. Can't say more than
Oh,
that, but yep. So it's first time he's doing stuff for DC. So we may need to knock on that door, but more importantly, very excited to see what he does because I think, as you guys all know, Ryan Parrott is one of my favorite comic book creators, in like active comic book creators. But anyways, let's look to DC because we got some other amazing creators doing some crazy shit this week from DC. For the week of the 14th, we got Wonder Woman 794, Superman Son of Kal-El issue 18, Batgirls 13. I am Batman 16. You are Batman 16. We are Batman 16, which is a surprisingly long title. But Batman Incorporated issue 3, Wildcats 2, Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries issue 3. Then we got a couple of first issues. Danger Street issue 1 by Tom King and Jorge Fornes. Dark Crisis Big Bang issue 1 by Mark Waid and Dan Jurgens. Harley Quinn Uncovered by Amanda Connor, Warren Lau,
yeah.
and Derek Chu. And this one actually does look pretty interesting, right? Because the celebration of Harley Quinn, something like that. So for Harley Quinn fans, might be something worth checking out. But the big book, this is the book of the week, possibly the book of the month, more than likely the book of the month. Batman Spawn #1 by Todd McFarlane and Greg Capullo. Holy shit. Been dying for this since it first got announced. I actually missed the announcement. You had to tell me when it came out. And you have obviously the creator of Spawn, and then the man that the creator of Spawn says is the definitive Spawn writer or artist, in Greg Capullo. Back on Batman as well. Two dark heroes cursed by tragedy find their paths crossing again, but not by choice. What sinister foe is at work pitting the Dark Knight against the Hellspawn? From the shadows of Gotham City to New York City, this epic event is the blockbuster you've been waiting for almost 2 decades.
Yeah. This is wild because like so this is a book that we will probably be talking about next year's annual, for a potential book of the year.
Well, I
Right?
think it's just a one shot, Joe.
Is it just a one shot?
I think it's just a one shot. Yeah.
Well,
It's
if it's
48 pages.
if it's a one shot, baby, then I'll tell you what, if it's that good, I'm not to hype it up, but if it's that good, I will
That's actually
definitely give it
something we
consideration.
should. I don't think we could do. Well, maybe you can do it this year in some way. But thinking about one shot of the year, because
Yeah.
obviously Aftershock does a lot. We've seen other places do it. Or a single issue of the year, something to that end.
Or
Maybe something.
limited, maybe it could fall under a limited issue sort of thing,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like
we could do
something to
that.
think about. But like
Yeah,
this is, I mean, how long ago was this announced? And
yeah.
a long time. And so for this to come out, and I mean, we've had Greg Capullo on, and he's such a cool dude, right?
Yeah.
And he's such a tremendous artist. And to see him back on Batman and Spawn, and having McFarlane, also on this as well. I mean, I'm trying not to hype it up too much, but I feel like there's no such thing.
No, there's no such thing in this.
This should be absolutely fantastic.
Look,
And I am for this
I
thing.
love Spawn, and we've talked about it. Like when Sean took over Spawn, it took things to another level because of his writing ability. But I like Spawn. The art in that book is always one of the best, if not the best. And obviously, Greg, I don't know if he drew Spawn longer than anybody, but maybe one of the longest tenured, certainly one of, at least if not the longest ever to draw Spawn. And I'll tell you what, man, to get seeing if nothing else, this is going to be such a visually outstanding book. And when it's a one shot, there's different expectations too. Like you expect this to be a lot of action, a lot of confusion, of course, between these two guys. It's like a versus and everything. So they'll maybe team up at the end reluctantly, but I'm very excited to see visually how this all comes together.
Yeah, Pants Tent City for fucking shout.
Yep. And then, of course, going through the Image books, I think we're going to actually see DC and Image logos on these books. We should at least. But, Joe, what do we got from Image for the week of the 14th?
All right. So we have Radiant Black 20, Ice Cream Man 33, 10,000 Black Feathers issue 4, Tuck Ever or sorry, not Tuck Everlasting. It's a fucking movie. Love Everlasting issue 5, Starhenge book 1, The Dragon and the Bear issue 6, Hell to Pay issue 2, Two Graves issue 2, my book based on me, all about me. Shirtless Bear Fighter 2 issue 5.
Damn straight.
We have Gospel issue 2, and then we have Three Keys issue 3, and then we have 2 number ones here. Art Brute issue 1, written by W. Maxwell Prince, with art by Martin Morazzo and Matt Lopez. And this is a book that apparently came out a while ago. This is the writer of Ice Cream Man. And they sort of they're reprinting it under its original title and updating a few things about it. So if you're a fan of Ice Cream Man, chances are you'll be a fan of this. But the number one, I highlighted this for you, Nicholas, before you even had a chance to look it over, because this other number one is written by Mark Millar.
Exactly. And for me, like, this is a no question asked. I'm going to give this one a look. Mark Millar and Juanan Ramirez, Nightclub issue 1. And this is such an odd thing to have in a solicit. Like, we always see, like, writers get mentioned or different things like that. The first sentence of this is, this series will be $199. So, all right.
Mark Millar don't need that money. He got that Netflix money, baby.
Yeah, he does. I mean, how are you not going to give this a look? Look, from a synopsis standpoint, yeah, it sounds like it could be good. To me, it's like, okay, Millar's on it, so I pretty much am going to trust that. Obviously, talked about a few of his books on here. But you're 17 years old and you've been bitten by a vampire. Do you live in the shadows and drink human blood, or do you use your newfound gifts for the dream costumed superhero life you've always wanted? You're bulletproof. You can crawl up walls, and you can turn to mist, bats, or even a wolf. Okay. Why not have a little fun? So to me, this is just like, okay, we're dealing with a 17-year-old who just became a vampire, and that's it. Like, that is all we're getting out of this. And then we know Mark Millar. I'm not familiar with Juanan's art style, so I'm in. Like, I kind of wonder if this could be like an Invincible, but as a vampire sort of deal. Like, if you do that, that could work out pretty well.
Yeah. It's worth a shot for sure, and he's earned that reputation. I talk about writers all the time, artists too, but if Zdarsky, if Lewis, if Barnes, if Lemire, if they're writing a book, I'm gonna fucking read it.
And then and Millar is in that category for me, for sure, as much as most of those guys are, if not all of them are, as well. And then Skybound, okay, of course, from Image, but their own imprint. Dark Ride issue 3. From Boom, we got Grimm issue 6, which this is the last issue, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I believe so.
Okay, because we have a plan to talk about Grimm. It's been a while since we got the 5th issue, of Grimm?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what this plan is.
Oh, it was we were going to do this and Alice Ever After at the same time.
Right.
Yes, been holding on to that one for a little bit. Then we got Wind, The Throne in the Sky, issue 5, Specs, issue 2, and then a Boom number 1. So that means Dr. Joe wants to talk about it.
Yeah. So A Vicious Circle, issue 1, written by Mattson Tomlin, with art by Lee Bermejo. I love his art, by the way. Again, you talk about someone who's got a very specific style, right? Very gothic style,
this is going to be awesome. Holy shit.
Sean Thacker is a trained assassin from the future who seeks revenge on the only other man with his affliction. Each life they take forces them both to travel between vastly different past and future eras.
Dibs.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Yep. I don't feel bad about it at all.
Yeah, you know what I'm not going to feel bad about?
What?
Also reading it at the same time as you.
See, the man encourages me to call dibs, and then he's just like, fuck it. It's going to briar him all over the fucking place.
Yeah. Good Asian, until the day,
unbelievable.
All that goodwill I've built up, I don't give a shit. I'll fucking tear it all down in a second.
Okay. Interesting.
But no, this sounds, it looks awesome. And so the synopsis of it too got into a little bit more detail, but I didn't want to read another entire paragraph or copy and paste it when I was doing this last night. But like the time travel, the different eras, like I feel like Bermejo is just going to have an absolute blast with this. The art in this book should be absolutely outstanding.
So for those who maybe can't think of Lee Bermejo's art style right away, and why Joe and I are like, holy shit over this, because I don't remember the last time Lee Bermejo did a book, but Lee Bermejo is the one who did that Batman, like all that, the collection of covers. And I have that, I have the X-Men animated series coffee table book, at my place, but I also have that out on the coffee table as well, because everybody loves Batman. It's that art, man. Holy shit. So if I don't know who's going to be coloring it. I gotta imagine it probably won't be him, but I hope they're using that kind of aesthetic. That's going to be friggin' crazy. Yeah, this is going to be an experience. Take us through Dark Horse, please.
So we have Resident Alien, The Book of Love, issue 2, and then we have a couple of issue number ones. We have Leonide the Vampire, A Christmas for Crows. This is written by Mike Mignola, with art by Rachel Aragno. And this seems to be a continuation of another series of the same name that he's done. So this is sort of like a little Christmas one-off. And then Assassin's Apprentice, issue 1, written by Jody Hauser with art by Ryan Haub. And then let me go through a couple of these other ones here real quick, Nicholas. So from IDW, we have TMNT Armageddon Game, The Alliance, issue 2. Crashing issue 4, Star Trek Resurgence issue 2, and then My Little Pony Classics Reimagined issue 2. And then from AWA, we had Axel Alonso on about a month ago, I believe at this point now, to talk about the Resistance Universe Origins Volume 1. This is 100%. This is someone you want to introduce to comics and to indie comics and to this particular universe that AWA has created. This is a book to get them, because it's gonna, I think it's $20, which is a great price, because it's gonna have, the entire first volume of the Resistance, and then it's gonna have a whole other set of collection of issue ones from all the other Resistance titles, and I think Erratic Volume 1 is in there as well. So you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. You're going to get introduced to this universe that they've created, with the superheroes. And go back if you're interested and listen to our recent chat with Axel Alonso. This should be awesome. I've already got all these books. I'm still going to pick this up. And then New Think Volume 1. I still have 2 issues left to read, but the graphic novel for this comes out, and that's been a very interesting series as well.
Yeah, and speaking of AWA too, we should have talked about this off of the rip, but I don't remember. I don't know if I texted you about this or you sent a note to me. But Marjorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal, has been optioned.
Yes,
I'm trying to find if it was a.
It was a tweet. I think I sent it to you.
But it was a film. It's going to be adapted into a feature film. So very excited about that. That can't be the only thing that Axel was trying to tease with us about Garth, but maybe it is. But definitely gotta talk to him, checking back in with him at some point on all this, because I'm very excited for the potential about this on the big screen.
And you know what's funny? It just fucking hit me when we talked to Axel the first time, and Marjorie Finnegan was 3 or 4 issues out at that point. He had said, it seemed at the time like a possible throwaway line, but he said, "Oh, there's going to be more on this to come. Don't you wait."
Oh yeah, it's probably been in the works. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Probably been in the works for a really long time. I mean, they got a ton of awesome stuff, and we like Marjorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal, but man, there's some other titles too that we really, really like. I'm like Devil's Highway. I really hope that gets picked up. And then, Crystal Faust has 3. Was it 3 over there? Redemption, Bad Mother, and Hit Me. Those are the 3 that she's done. Hit Me being the most recent one, and possibly my favorite AWA book. Period. But anyways, so yeah, a ton of good stuff there. Let's see. From Artist Elite Comics, we got Artist Elite Presents issue 6, which you're trying to catch up on all that.
I found all 5 issues in Newbury Comics last week. All 5. So I haven't read it yet. So again, I wasn't aware of this either, but there's like 2 or 3 stories in each book, and it continues on through. It's going to be a daunting task, but I'm glad that I'll have them all. I can kind of rip through them. But
I was confused by this. I thought there was one that they would do this with, and then like we'd start getting the single issues, and that's not the case.
Yeah. So. My only beef with them is they don't promote their shit. I need to see their stuff, get it out there. Would
love to talk about it. They got some crazy artists over there. I mean, I think Tyler Kirkham's over there. I think John Boy is going to be doing some stuff with them as well. Dexter Soy, he's doing Red Ronin too. Like I want to check that out. But anyways, from Aftershock, we got A Calculated Man 4. I question this because Aftershock usually doesn't have this much out week to week, but Calculated Man 4, Samurai Doggy 3, There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd 4, Vineyard 3, Jimmy's Little Bastards issue 2, Last Line 2, and then we got the first issue of Maniac of New York, Don't Call It a Comeback, which I have like the first 5 issues of, I think this is the third arc, if I'm not mistaken. I have the first arc collected, and I gotta maybe I'll give that a look and talk about that on the show at some point. But that's by Elliot Kalin and Andrea Moody. I believe is the artist for Bunny Mask. So good. Yeah. Second volume was great too. But we also have another number 1 that you want to talk about from Aftershock.
Yeah, so this was supposed to come out like a month ago and it got pushed back a little bit. So the last ride of Pillar and Pride, issue 1, written by, again, friend of the show, John Lees from across the pond, and art by Joe Mulvey. When Ben Pillar and Eli Pride were kids, they did something incredible. They saved a young girl's life and stopped a madman. They were heroes. But that was a long time ago. Now, with their career as young adult adventure novelists in decline and their friendship in similar dire straits, the pair embark on a road trip back to their hometown in hopes of mending their relationship. But a new evil has emerged in the town of Tarragon Falls. Can Pillar and Pride be heroes once again?
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's John. I mean, John over at Aftershock too. Like, you know what you're getting over there. So I'm excited for this one. Let's see, Dynamite, excuse me. We got Garbage Pail Kids issue 3, which of course is one of Joe's favorite books. And then Red Sonja, Hell Sonja, issue 1 by Jordan Clark and Mariana Puglia. Puglia? Anyways, let's move into the third week of December and get us going with Marvel, please.
Okay, so we have, surprisingly, when I was doing this over at or League of Comic Geeks, I should say, Marvel wasn't like when you go to filter them, it'll do it by most to least, and this was 2 weeks in a row where Marvel was like the third for an amount of books behind.
But I question, like, one of them had Scout, I think, for like 23 books in a week. I was like, that's wrong. Like, no disrespect, like that's just not, no way.
Yeah. So for the third week of December, the week of 12/21, for Marvel, we have Wolverine 28, Strange issue 9, Black Panther issue 12, Avengers number 12, Alien number 4, Gold Goblin number 2, Spider-Man The Lost Hunt issue 2, Dark Miss Marvel?
Dark Web.
All right. I'm Ron Burgundy. Miss Marvel, Sabretooth, and the Exiles number 2. Get the fuck out of here with that title. Had to be done. Namor the Submariner, Conquered Shores issue 3, and Wakanda issue 3. And we have 2 number 1s. We have Mary Jane Black Cat issue 1, written by Jed McKay, with art by Vincenzo Caratu. And then we have X-Men Annual number 1, written by Steve Fox, with art by Andre DeVito. A lot of Italians over at Marvel all of a sudden.
I think, oh God, who's the one that does all the Mary Jane and like more Mary Jane art? I can't think of him. I follow him on Instagram, but I think there's going to be a lot of people wanting to collect some of these covers for Mary Jane and Black Cat. But let's see, we got DC Comics Nightwing 99, The Flash 789, Dark Crisis 7, which I believe might be the final issue of that. It looks like it. Anyways, I fell behind on that one. Tried to keep with it, but I think after the second issue, just too much other good stuff. And we both complained about events. Catwoman 50, Batman versus Robin issue 4, Batman Superman World's Finest issue 10, Batman Urban Legends issue 22, Deceased War of the Undead Gods issue 5, DC versus Vampires All Out War issue 6 by friend of the show Alex Paknadel, GCPD The Blue Wall, I believe it's issue 3, didn't write it down. Harley Quinn, the animated series, Legion of Bats, issue 4. And I don't think we have any first issues from DC this week, Joe. So you can go right to Image.
That's a first. Not a ton of number 1s dropping, I think, the rest of the way here. But from Image, we have Vanish issue 4. We have Gunslinger Spawn issue 15, The Scorched issue 13. What's the Furthest Place from Here issue 9, Junkyard Joe issue 3, Rogue Sun issue 9, I Hate Fairyland issue 2, Hitomi issue 3, Nita Hawes Nightmare Blog. I was going to say Nightmare. Nita Hawes Nightmare Blog issue 11, The Deadliest Bouquet issue 5, and then we have a number 1 here, The Department of Truth Wild Fictions special number 1, written by James Tynion with art by Martin Simmons. It's a reprint of Department of Truth issues 10 and 11. And so this is something that he's done over on his Substack, where these these particular issues had to deal with sort of like cryptids. And I believe, if I remember correctly, issue 10 and 11 was revolving around Sasquatch. And it
Yeah,
was
that's what it
actually
looked like on the cover. That's
right,
what it looked
and
like.
it was actually it was a really good set of issues there. But one of the things he was doing over at his Substack was doing some Department of Truth stuff specifically on cryptids and sort of exploring that a little bit more, sort of a side thing. That's what I thought this was, but it looks like it's just a reprint of those 2 issues. Which, if you're that, I definitely recommend that stuff, because that little 2 issue there, little arc there was wonderful.
I got to get back on it because I actually didn't tell you, but I read the first arc, planning on talking about it on the show for one of the trades, and then you were like, then it was that period of where you were having some level of frustration with Department of Truth, and I went off it because like, oh no, like if show's falling off, then maybe I don't want to stick with it. I don't know, but obviously it has bounced back in a big way, right?
Yeah, because it's gotten back. It was, I think, part of the issue I was having is it sort of flatlined a bit, and it was getting really, really, really like convoluted and dialogue heavy. But he sort of snapped out of that, and it's gotten back to the good juicy stuff again.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, man, like just Vanish, Gunslinger Spawn, and the Scorch. I mean, and Rogue Sun, Nita Hawes.
Hawes.
Looking at from like a covers standpoint too. Oh my god, I know Kevin Keane did friend of the show we haven't had on the show, but maybe we'll at some point down the line. But he's done some awesome stuff over for Todd and everything. This is another great cover too. Gunslingers on that one. I just like all of these freaking they kick ass. Skybound, we got Chroma issue 2, Manifest Destiny 48 from Boom. We got Berserker issue 11. One of the shorter titles, actually, Joe. You would think you would appreciate that, but sadly you do not. Something is Killing the Children, issue 27. Stuff of Nightmares, issue 4. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue 103, written by a friend of the show, Melissa Flores. She's doing a great job over there. Just started on that title. The Vampire Slayer, issue 9. Eve, Children of the Moon, issue 3. And then we get all new Firefly, Big Damn Finale by David Boer and Simona Di Gianfelice.
Yeah, sure. That sounds right.
All right.
So from Dark Horse, we have we have Breakout issue 4, and then we have 2 number 1s. We have Gru, Gods Against Gru, issue 1, written by Mark Evanier and Sergio Argonis, with art by Sergio Argonis. And then the other number 1, Dibs, The Wisher, The Ballad of the Two Wolves, issue 1. See, it's not so fun when someone
You're going to do that on the show. Okay. You're going to do a 4 issue. Okay, cool. All right. Duly noted. Going forward. Got it. All right. That's fair game. That's it. Sure. 100%. I'm not upset at all. Nope. Didn't bother me one fucking bit.
See, payback's a bitch.
Yep.
So how about we do this? Null and void.
Nope. I'm sticking to it, and we will do these on the show together. How's that sound?
I'm still reading the other book. Written by Bartosz Stysbor, with art by Mikey Montlo. I can't pronounce those names.
I'm not helping you.
I apologize. That's fine. Hailed as the greatest monster slayer in the infamous Witcher, Geralt is beckoned to the town of Grimwald when a strange occurrence stirs murmurs of a werewolf on the prowl. Rumors spread about the particular arrival of the 3 Piglet sisters, with a grand mystery of a monster to kill. Dandelion, as the audiobooks often call him. I refer to him as Dandelion.
That's what I
may just find the inspiration he needs to write the perfect ballad. Yeah, the audiobooks are wild because in some of the books, and it's the same guy. He calls him Dandelion, and some of them calls him Dandelion. But no, I wasn't serious with the dibs there because I wouldn't do that to you because I'm not a prick.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
But I love these Witcher comics. They've been excellent.
Yeah, and Bartosz Stysbor, I don't know if he did the last one, but he definitely did the one
that we loved there.
Yeah. The other one wasn't a bad story necessarily, so we didn't care for the art quite as much.
Yeah.
But I just gotta know, which Geralt is this gonna be? Do we know?
Not gonna know. Oh.
Yeah. Took you a second there. All right. We got IDW True Cult issue 5, Sonic the Hedgehog, Scrapnik Island issue 3, TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures issue 3, which is actually Swaggin's favorite comic. Dead Seas issue 1 by Kevin Scott and Nick Brokenshire is one of two first issues that we got coming out this week from IDW. Actually, kind of interesting. This one, might check it out, but not like nothing crazy necessarily for either of us. Then, of course, we got more Star Trek stuff from IDW. Strange New Worlds, Illyrian Enigma issue 1 by Mike Johnson, Kirsten Beyer, and Megan Levins.
All right, so I'm going to round out week 3 here from friends of the show, studio friends of the show, AWA. We have Year Zero, Volume 0, Issue 3, and Erratic Recharged, Issue 4. Both excellent books. From Vault, we have Door to Door, Night by Night, Issue 2. Again, for friend of the show, Cullen Bunn, and West of Sundown, I should say, Issue 7. This has been phenomenal. Aftershock, we have Astronaut Down. What were you gonna say?
No, I haven't. West of Sundown, like I know you've talked about it. Phenomenal though.
It's been really good. It's been really good.
So you're gonna talk about it on the show at some point then?
More than likely, yes.
Okay.
Aftershock, Astronaut Down, Issue 5, Chicken Devils, Issue 2, Vineyard, Issue 4, and Fear of Red Planet, Issue 2. And then to round out the week, I think this is more than likely incorrect because I don't think we're getting back-to-back weeks here from Source Point Press. Good Boy Prodigal Son, Issue 2.
Back-to-back weeks. Did I have it for the next week too?
No, the week before I had it, right?
No, you didn't.
Then every other week. It's going to be a bi-weekly book. This is clearly a typo.
Okay, maybe it is. But that's
by League of Comic Geeks.
Exactly. But Astronaut Down and Chicken Devils are two books because I think it was The Chicken Devil or just Chicken Devil. Love the first arc. Hayden Sherman is the artist on that. Probably the only enemy of the show, thanks to Joe.
Christensen. You meant Christensen.
Yes, of course. Yes, we don't like him either. But I will after
we like Hayden Sherman.
Of course we do. I think Hayden knows that. I hope so.
We said we don't like him either, implying that we also didn't like Hayden Sherman.
That's a fair point. Anyways, but Astronaut Down is another book that I'm expecting to talk about on this show. But I think I'm like one issue behind. But anyways, let's move into the final week of December, the week of the 28th, right after Christmas, just before New Year's Eve. Joe, start us off with Marvel.
Okay, so we have The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 16, Moon Knight 18, Venom issue 14, New Mutants 33, She-Hulk issue 9, Carnage issue 8, Midnight Suns issue 4, Star Wars Dr. Aphra issue 27, Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man issue 3, Exterminators issue 4, Captain America Symbol of Truth issue 8. I was trying to do this all in one breath. I can't fucking do it.
No, he's only midway through, everybody, just so you know.
Yeah. Star Wars, Han Solo and Chewbacca issue 8. You got to learn to condense, just do Han Solo and Chewbacca. Right?
Okay.
People know that it's Star Wars. Marvel, people know it's fucking Sar Wars.
Hey, you told me to put everything in there. I put friggin' everything in there. You can't have two. I don't know the fucking saying. Just keep reading.
Dark
Dance
Web.
for me.
X-Men issue 2, Make Me a Bicycle Clown, Star Wars The High Republic issue 3, Star Wars Yoda issue 2, Thunderbolts issue 5, Strange Academy Finals issue 3, Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings issue 6, Doctor Strange The Fall Sunrise issue 2, Extreme X-Men issue 2, Miracle Man The Silver Age number 3, and a slew of number ones here. And by slew, I mean 3. We have Timeless issue 1 written by Jed McKay with art by Greg Land. Murder World Spider-Man number 1 written by Jim Zub and Ray Fox with art by Jethro Morales. And then Star Wars The High Republic The Blade issue 1 written by Charles Soule with art by Marco Castillo. This actually might be one to check out.
So two things. If everybody's wondering, didn't we just get Timeless a little while back? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. So I'm a little confused what's going on there, but we're not reading the Kang stuff. And then Star Wars The High Republic The Blade. I'm being honest, being a friend, you called dibs on this already, I'm pretty sure.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, so just a real
quick, man, I'm 40. I don't remember this shit.
Read the synopsis. Hundreds of years before the Skywalker saga, witnessed the rise of a legend, the mighty Jedi Porter Engle, perhaps the most skilled lightsaber wielder in the High Republic. With his fellow knight Barash, He travels the galaxy, serving as a guardian of peace and justice. But even Porter Engel has enemies he cannot defeat. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charles Soule is he's written other Star Wars stuff, Darth Vader stuff. So I expect this to be pretty decent.
Yeah, and I'm loving. He does Undiscovered Country with Scott Snyder. Really, obviously talked about that in the show way at the beginning. And then what's the other one? 8 Billion Genies that he's doing, which has been so good with Ryan Brown. DC Comics for the week of the 28th. Detective Comics 1067. Action Comics 1050. Nice House on the Lake issue 12, which is the finale, right?
Yeah, about damn time. It's about damn time.
I think you might actually, Joe. We might actually be able to read that right now. If not next week, you'll be able to read
Oh
that. So
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't have
I'll
to
give
wait.
it a go. No, I said that. I only said that in jest because this has kind of had a
Oh yeah,
little bit of the last Ronin treatment to it. But
a
um,
little bit.
I can't wait to see how he wraps this one up.
DC versus Vampires issue 12, which I am very excited for the finale. And that talked about that on the show a little while back. We also got the finale of Batman Beyond the White Knight issue 7 is out that week. Harley Quinn 25. Riddler Year 1 issue 2, which you have dibs on. I like the first issue a lot, right?
Yeah, it was. I just gave it to my nephew. I actually saw Patrick last weekend because it was his sister's birthday. So I
Mm.
gave him Rogue One. I gave him, I got him like 4 or 5 issues of Batman, Superman, World's Finest. I gave him the Riddler book,
Mm.
and I gave him my he's got Batman Beyond the White Knight issues
Nice.
1 through 6. So he got quite the
Nice.
stack.
How did he feel about, did you ask him how he feels about the Mario trailer, the Mario movie trailer?
No, we didn't talk about that. He
Mm.
did ask me if I saw Black Panther. I
Okay.
haven't seen it yet. And he, like me, thinks that Phase 4 has been very mid, as the kids would say. And
Oh,
he liked Black Panther more than Thor, but he wasn't big on Black Panther.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. Punchline Gotham Games issue 3, Batman Gotham Knights Gilded City issue 3, Blue Beetle Graduation Day issue 2, DC Horror presents Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead issue 4. That is a mouthful. And then for first issues, we got John Stewart, The Emerald Knight by Jeffrey Thorne and Marco Santucci. Tales from Earth. Now this one blew me away. I didn't like. I was very much thrown off by this, and I got to read some of the synopsis, Joe. We got Tales from Earth 6, a celebration. This is from DC Comics, a celebration of Stan Lee. This is by various writers and artists. Over 20 years ago, Stan Lee reimagined the entire DC universe. A criminal turned nocturnal warrior for justice, a champion from the Brazilian Amazon, an intergalactic lawman, and more sprang to existence from Stan's mind with the help of Michael Uslan, I believe is how you say it.
Uslan, yeah.
Yeah, to celebrate the legendary comic book icon's 100th birthday, dive into 10 new adventures featuring his version of the DC universe. We gotta check this out. I think I'm
Oh,
gonna have to check this out.
that's definitely worth checking out. That's yeah.
Yeah. And then Sandman Universe, The Dead Boy Detectives, issue 1 by good Asian writer Pornsock Pesciotti and Jeff Stokely.
Yeah, I mean, the Sandman shit just it scares the shit out of me, but he's a tremendous writer, an absolute
Yes.
tremendous writer. So that's
Yeah.
definitely one to check out. From Image, we have King Spawn issue 18. We have Image issue 9, Philadelphia issue 26, Lovesick issue 3, The Magic Order 3 issue 6, Flawed issue 4, Plush issue 2, and then from Image's other imprint, Skybound, we have I believe the conclusion to Stillwater,
Ooh,
issue 17, in Creep Show issue 4, and then Nicholas, what do we have over at Boom?
Damn Them All, issue 3, which has been such a good title. Of course, written by Teisper, excuse me. We Only Find Them When They're Dead, issue 15. Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, issue 2. I think Boom's trying to make a case for the longest titles in a given week per capita. And then we got The Approach, issue 3. And then we have a couple of number ones. One that I highlighted for you, Joe, that I'll let you talk about in a second, but I just want to go through mine real quick.
Oh, I just saw this. I remember when this came out. I forgot about the boner I had when I first saw this news.
Mine is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TMNT Volume 2, Issue 1, Ryan Parrott, Dan Mora, Right Again. I have the Shredder Green Ranger mashup action figure. Thing is fucking awesome. I absolutely I'm like, this is, I don't think I talked about this one on the show. It's kind of like just a fun one where it's just like, hey, just get after it, and you're not really digging into,
could be a good one to talk about on the gift guide.
It would be. Yep. I'll probably talk about that. Is a great point, Joseph. Now, there's another book too, another first issue from Boom this week that I think is, I'm most curious for your opinion on this.
Well, so I've been largely unimpressed with House of Slaughter. But this is the Book of Slaughter, issue 1, written by James Tynion and art by Werther Dell'Edera. So this is the duo that does Something Is Killing the Children. And while I've enjoyed, Tate Bromble and oh shoot, who's the artist on the autumnal there? Chris Sheehan, right? Like they did great. They did really good stuff. I just the stories didn't really pull me in, but give me everything that's dealing with Erica Slaughter. I mean, she is the reason to read, Something. Is her character is so great and what she deals with. The future of the Slaughterverse is laid bare by Something Is Killing the Children, creators Tynion and Dell'Edera. And its very first Something Is Killing. This is a one-shot special. Okay, all right, I can fuck with this. From the sidelines to the spotlight, Book of Slaughter follows the white mask Maxine Slaughter, but will her loyalties remain where they are, or will she show her true colors? In addition to being a precursor to the upcoming chapters of both series, this special issue features a sizable guidebook that delves deep into the lore of the Order of St. George. Yes, yes, yes. Give it to me, baby.
This sounds absolutely amazing. And I think the main cover, if I'm not mistaken, was Dan Mora, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, shit.
I saw the cover for it, and it's, again, on League of Comics. You can go check that out. It is, it's pretty sweet.
Oh, so, okay. Now we're cooking with gas here, baby.
Yes. All right. Why don't you wrap things up for us, Joe, with the last few we got?
Okay, just a couple here left. From Dark Horse, we have The Roadie issue 4 and Frankenstein New World issue 4. From AWA, we have the conclusion to Sacrament issue 5. Oh, this is, again, you might see this on the annual for potential best new series of 2022.
Maybe.
Aftershock, There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd issue 5. Again, I doubt both those issues are coming out this month, but we will see. The Brother of All Men issue 4, and again, Jimmy's Little Bastards issue 3. I don't know. I
don't think so. And then actually, there's one Comixology book too, Joe. Is this you or is this me? I don't remember.
I'll have to double check. This might be me.
I think it is.
Duck and Cover issue 1, written by Scott Snyder. No, this is you because it's art by Raphael Albuquerque. I believe. I'll have to double check the notes. I've got it buried somewhere.
But it's a manga-influenced teen adventure set in the strange post-apocalyptic America of 1955. And for those who don't remember, this is the team that brought you American Vampire.
I might have grabbed this because I love Albuquerque's art, so this could be me.
Yeah, we'll have to double check that one. Actually, we didn't talk about it in What's New, but I believe Black Canary, the 4th issue of that, is out this week. Man, if there's one book that I have,
was it on Comixology? I mean, it wasn't on League of Comic Geeks. Come on.
Yeah, but if there's one book that I'm excited to talk about on the show of the ones that I have in the hopper, I think that's got to be number 1. But I got to wait till the first arc ends. But
that's wild. That's wild.
So good, man. But anyways, that is it for the Solicited. We were actually relatively concise for us when it comes to Solicited.
Yeah.
So next week we're gonna have a special TLDR special. We may make it a mainline numbering wise. I don't know, but we're talking mangas next week. Our friend of the show, Chris Scheim at Scheim Time, I believe is on Twitter, right? That's his handle on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He'll be joining us hopefully to be talking about one of his favorite mangas. Joe and I will have a couple prepared that we've had recommended to us. But until then, Joe, stay sexy.
You know it.